Boom. We're going to click OK. NVIDIA is down again. Remember, it's 3 days. Oh, let's put that in. I'll put that in. NVIDIA rule. Look at that. I gotta start my YouTube so I can see what you guys see. Live chat, hit thumbs up. Oh, there's already somebody in here who hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Live chat, we'll go back to Safari. Don't want that, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. Let's see what bond rates are doing. Everything's in the 5s. Let us see about GPT portfolio. If you're new here, subscribe. I'm here every day. Performance update. They don't have an update. Okay. I don't think they are. Yeah. Wow, Macy's taking it on the chin too. Oh, let's bring up SOFI. We'll look at the chart. And then buy back in at 6. Oh, I want to follow Contessa. I like her. Sponsored. We don't follow sponsored. I'll take that down. We're going to take that down. Hopefully you got Pioneer. I forgot to buy it, but yeah, we'll look at Target again. Let's see. Let's refresh this. Huh. You know, and I should probably mention this, but I mean, I'm making thousands of dollars off of just having cash. And there was just a report on CNBC about how millionaires are hoarding cash. I'm not hoarding cash. I'm 92% invested. Normally, I'm 95% invested. I own Etsy. I own Target. Listen, I can't argue with either one of these. I believe both Etsy and Target are just unfairly priced at the current time. I just don't think don't think that you're going to make, 15, 20% off a Target in the next week or two. It's not going to catalyst like that, but I can't imagine. I mean, morning, Joe. I can't imagine that we're that poorly off. And Sweet Hospitality Trust. Guy bought $7 million worth. Ooh. Ryan Specialty Holdings. Dude sold $360 million. Ecofist. That's a company. Sold 152. Coco. Vita Coco. Sold 125 million. Whew. Let's. One that I do want to look at is. That's because I was on my laptop last night. If you didn't know, I launched the newsletter yesterday. I got it out. I was not happy with the graphics in it. It's a work in progress. Hopefully you signed up for it. It's free. It's in the link tree down below. It is 100% free. I was looking at Macy's yesterday because I thought their earnings were going to be good. Macy's is one of those kind of like Costco. I thought, well, maybe the consumer is going to be weak, but they'll guide higher. They guided lower. It's 100% in my mind a buy. But I'll bring that up on the podcast. Let's see. PXD. We are 199 it closed at. It doesn't trade much pre-market. But I didn't get in before the ex-dividend date. I think you get $6 on that one, but I could be wrong. One of Sherry's favorites, Faraday, FFIE. They priced their car at $309,000. $309,000 for the first vehicle they are making. So you don't have service centers. You don't have anybody local. I mean, at that point, lifetime warranty. It's an impressive vehicle. I just don't know why anybody would put that kind of money down, but I've actually withheld the last couple of days, to be honest with you, pretty well. My portfolio has been up. I was kind of shocked. I'm looking at the core portfolio that I have in TrendSpider. Okay, let's do some scans. I got enough to talk about. I could put one word on the page and I'd have enough to talk about. Market scanner. Had a lot of people sign up for TrendSpider over the weekend for the 50% off sale. So I was communicating with TrendSpider last night. VTRS, I don't think that's worthy. Square or Block, I think that's worthy. Kind of like PayPal. I'm going to bring that up. I also own PayPal. It's a buy to go to 80. I think Square. Ooh, Disney? Has Disney been beaten up? Roblox. Roblox really had a cross up? It's above 40. Wow. I guess it's secondary cross up because I think you're still in it from this point. Yeah. That's a secondary cross up. Boomerish. Like Michael Scott says, boom, roasted. Wow. I'm shocked at that one. Energy names. Did anything energy get a cross up? Nope. God. Let's see. Is anything in the energy sector? SLB. This one, Shell, that's not one. UCO. SCO is the only one that's probably got a current buy. Cord, nope. You're out there. Arch, which is coal. As a former listener, Tom, coal will lead this year. He said that in January. I don't think coal's leading this year. It's Arch Resources. Coal is kind of taking, 50% hit? BTU? Yeah, it was good last year. But coal, not a good one this year. Coal just doesn't have a future. Lithium has been a die. You know what I don't have in here? I do have PXD. Oh, I didn't scroll up. That's what I was doing. Exxon's not a buy. ConocoPhillips, not a buy. Devon Energy, not a buy. You're not. When I say not a buy, the algorithm doesn't have you in. Here, we might as well scan these with the algorithm, the 4 hour. I don't do 65-minute on these just because. Yeah, look at how many you're out with reds. There's a little gain on FANG, but you're still out. You're not in right now. Venom or Viper, you're out. PXD, I think you're out on PXD. Even though, buying for the ex-dividend date was a good one, Joe. I think that's a great strategy. XLE overall, you're out. Marathon Resources, you're out. NXE, you're out. Willie's was, let me see how that performed after earnings. Let me see. Willie on Instagram, NGL. That's what I have to look at. NGL. It is down 1%. They lost 51 cents, so they didn't report a good quarter. Oh, no. Oh, my friend's dog passed away. I have to write a little note. Hold on. That's a... Okay. Uber. I hope Willie got out of NGL. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's going to tumble. 51 cents. Let's see. NGL. This, ironically, was a insider, a congressman bought a shit ton of NGL in the last quarter. Not an insider buy, but he bought around here $1 or something. So I saw a report on it last night when I was scrolling through because I searched NGL. Google, or Daddy as I call him, put it in my feed. But I hope Willie's doing well on that one. Okay, let's go back to scans. OIH, let's look at continue. OIH, you're not in. Boyle, I know you're out. You're down 2% again today. KOLD, you're in. This is the only one that you're in at 65. But if you had the balls to take this at 65, knowing the run that it's been on, I mean, look at January, 17. You've tripled or quadrupled, almost quadrupled your money at this point if you've held the entire time. You could have done better because this one got, as you started to slide, maybe you sold up here in February and then you bought back down here. Maybe you sold up here and then bought back down here. And maybe you sold up here and bought back down here. But, just playing the RSI on this one might be a good one. But you can see, by the way, triple levered ETFs. Let's pull this back to January, December 16th. These are still retail traders who are holding down here. Or they're just long-time bulls who don't think that the prices of natural gas is going to come back. But LNG, I mean, this goes along with natural gas. You got this gap up here between 161, 164. Over the winter, that's going to hit. Halliburton, same thing as Schlumberger. It's been a killer. Schlumberger itself. I think this one is one that in the energy sector, I might take a swat at it. If we look at Schlumberger on a weekly, you're still above your 200-day. You're still doing really, really well from the pandemic. Pandemic pre-price was around 36. Maybe you're going back to there. But if you get back to there, load up the Brinks truck, back up that money truck. That's my take on that. Okay, let's go back to Market Scanner. We did energy. Now let's do levered ETFs. Nothing's really moving. Payrolls. Holy crap. ADP payrolls for the month. Crazy good. Wow. We're going to get a Fed raise, and the thing's going to tank. TARK. T-A-R-K. 2 times inverse. I mean, this is 47. You're at 62. I mean, if we go back to the strategy tester and just look at this one, I gotta move this back to court before I forget. 49.69. You're at 62. Again, when I know I give you 25% off on TrendSpider. You'll make this the money that you spend on TrendSpider, as long as you're trading enough money, absolutely 100% you'll make that money back. That's the way I look at it. As long as I make more than $400 a year, TrendSpider pays for itself. Yeah, Christian, it's going to be higher for longer. I know a lot of people, if we start, if they start taking the rates down, something's wrong. Something's broken. And so I don't, I got to, let me see. There we go. We're putting that one in as this is an article, by the way, that I read, and it's Bob. I'll put it in here. Let me put it in here. I read this at least 4 times a year, 5 times a year. Why is it not posting? There it is. Okay. It's Bob. And Bob began his career at 22 in 1970, and he just continued to invest $2,000 a year in his bank account until he had $6,000 to invest by the end of 1972. And he continued investing, and he timed it horribly. He bought at the absolute highs through his 20, 30-year career, and they go over the numbers. It's a good story to basically remind yourself, when's the best time to buy a stock? If it's buy and hold, today. Good companies, good product, good earnings, and good management. I mean, you can wait for it, if you want to, but Bob's lesson is a pretty good one to think of. TRK, UDOW, up Dow. Is the Dow ready to come back? I mean, let's go to Seeking Alpha. No, I don't want to become a... Did they close? let's go to, we're going to do DJA, I think it is. DIA, that's the one. DIA, and we'll do charting and add comparison. We'll take out S&P 500. We'll take SPY, and we'll take QQQ, and I'll put IWM in there too. Those are essentially the main ones that you can see. And when you're looking at year to date, I mean, QQQ is just blowing it away. SPY, I mean, listen, if you got SPY and you're up 9% for the year, kudos. Don't be upset at that. Okay, I'll leave that up. I do want to talk about that. This one, I'll close this one down. Okay, UDOW. That's an interesting one because the Dow just had its death cross. I'll look at that chart. Let's put in death cross. Coming down or we'll look at that one. Okay. Low cost VOT mid cap. I'm not even going to put that one in there. I don't think anybody listens to me for low cost Vanguard sectors. XLC. That's a secondary cross up. Communication sector has just been flying. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but if you back here in March, or even, on this dip right here, April 27th, which I don't know what the hell happened. But if you bought on that dip and then got in, I mean, that's 56 and you're at 62. 10% in an index in 1 month. That's all AI. XLC and XLU. Okay. Spider sectors. And then we're going to go into my not owned. I think I have the ARCs in here. Yeah, ARKK. We got a cross up. This is a secondary cross up. I mean, if you got in at the beginning of May, I mean, it's no NVIDIA, but it's good. ARKK, ARKF. I know I brought it up. Mara has a cross up. Realty? This is like a... I don't know too much about this one other than, I mean, it's got a good dividend at 5%. You're down 6%. It's basically a REIT. Let me see. ETF holdings. Let's look at that. Okay. Come on. Pull it up, Google. What you doing, Willis? Let's pull this up. Oh, it's not. Hold on. For some reason, we're frozen. Okay, we're going to... Okay. ETF holdings. Let's pull that up again. And we'll just go here. There we go. ETF holdings. VNQ. No. Is that really it? I don't know this channel. Hold on. Let's go back to... let's look at this. We'll go to Seeking Alpha. I know Seeking Alpha. Those are peers. So let's see if it's in the summary here. Revenue, earnings, valuation growth, profitability, ownership, peers, risk technicals. It does not have stock symbol, split history. Oh, I can't. Analysis, transcript, press release related, ratings, financials, earnings, dividends, valuation growth, profitability, momentum, peers, options, charting. No. I'll have to go to $96 holdings. This might be it. Okay, where is it? Come on. No. Is it really V? Yeah, I guess it is. VNQ, VTI, VOO, VO, SPY, SDY, IVV. So it just owns a bunch of other ETFs. Might not be a bad. I mean, here. Let's look at a weekly of this one. Because I think with that 5% dividend, it just kind of dies. Not really. As long as, I guess, real estate and everything's going up, you're going up, but nothing exciting. I will not bring it up. ARCF, Lightspeed. Nah, I'm not going to bring that one up. Let's go to ARC Holdings. There is no way. We have failed to save your workspace. Hold on. Okay. We've got to go back and scan ARC Holdings. I was going to say, there's no way. There's no ARCs. Matterport. Ooh. That's been a nice move. No real catalyst. But that's been a nice move. And I like Matterport. Their software is really good. Okay, not ARC Holdings. Let's go to the Dow 30. I know there's a couple. Come on. There we go. Dow 30. By the way, I saw a tweet from Dan Ushman, the CEO of TrendSpider. I think he said 20% of his costs are on data. AMZN. It's a good one. Verizon. I like Verizon. Verizon gives you a juicy dividend. And WBA. I don't know if I'd go into WBA. Verizon, I've said it several times on these dips that you can trade it, but I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, there's no ex-dividend date that's in the near future. It's probably right before their next earnings, but I don't know when the next ex-dividend date is. But let's go down to the NASDAQ. I think most people start joining later. My housekeeper was supposed to come today, but she didn't feel one. Zscaler. Dexcom. This is one I know diabetics just tell me, and I have that up there. I think I said sell it at 120. It's that line that's in there. I think I was showing my dad. Sell it at 120, Dad. Sell it. And then buy it down here. And it has a cross up. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to copy this and send it to my dad. There we go. They won't know what the hell that means, but I'm sending it to my dad. But Dexcom in my mind until, I mean, you could get killed just on next week's Apple if they announce that they're able to monitor blood sugar via the Apple Watch, and that is the big update. You're effed. I mean, Dexcom is just going to get destroyed. Let's be perfectly clear. I do not think that that's something that they're going to announce. Regeneron, that's a pandemic one. Excel Energy. It's energy. It's got some, I mean, look at those moves down here. Get you back to the 200-day. The death cross is the killer if you want to take that opportunity. But the death cross happened here. Then the ex-dividend date came. Let me see. Did they pay? I think it's a scrawny dividend. 3.19. Nothing to sneeze at. CI. I don't have healthcare I have United Healthcare on a list, but I don't have Cigna. You know what? I'm going to add this to my not owned. Because I think it's a good company. I just think healthcare has not had its due. And yeah, it's about to cross up. 247. And the ex-dividend date is coming up on July 6th. I like it, Joe. I like it. We're not going to do ARC Holdings. Is this not saving? Let's see. We're on the NASDAQ. I think it's not saving my workspace. We'll put CI in there. Probably not a bad one to tell people about. Yeah, I'm going to get notified that they're not saving my workspace again. That's what's happening. Man, I got so many things to talk about. Intel got an upgrade. Hold on. We're going to refresh this. Because I think it's having problems with my stuff. And I don't know why. I got gig internet. I'm streaming here on YouTube. So obviously I've got plenty of juice. NASDAQ 100. Okay. It's just chugging along. Nvidia's back up. Nvidia seems to have there's Dexcom, there's WBD. This one might be time to invest in. I mean, what scares me is the dip in December all the way down to 9, and you've got a writer strike, and you have a company that's currently rebranding itself. So, I don't know. But, okay, NASDAQ 100. Come on. AMZN, Zscaler, I've got those. Okay, let's do the S&P 100. And I'm not going to do energy. I think energy has outlived its usefulness as a sector right now. Duke Energy? This is one that has teased us. AT&T. And the rest of them I have. But Duke Energy, this is a utility that has teased us the entire way down. But it's a $100 stock. It's a utility. They're going to get, their costs are killing them. That's essentially what they said. The cost of energy is going up. They're not able to raise their prices because they're a utility. So it's going to be on this roller coaster. But AT&T, this one, I mean, you got gaps. You're filling the gap up to 1591 right now. You're at 1577. You got this gap up here between 18 and 19. But here's what you have to remember. This is a dying stock. This is a good company with bad management, with bad earnings, with mediocre products. They everything they put their hands on, they screw up. So I don't think I'd invest in this one. The dividend, let's see what their dividend is. I mean, get Verizon instead of this. Get T-Mobile. Their dividend is 7%. So it's good, but Verizon, which is a much better run company, the problem is the cost. I mean, it's just so capital intensive to maintain these networks. And your cell phone service is a race to the bottom. I mean, it's just a race to the bottom. Look, the sponsor of this one, Visible, it's $25 a month. The reason it's $25 a month is because they cut all the costs out of it. Verizon owns the network. You have chat support, not phone support. Nobody needs phone support. If your phone's out of service, how are you getting on the internet to call them? You know, hey, my phone's not working. Douche, chat. So, morning, Eric. Yeah. So AT&T, in my mind, probably not a good one. You know what I do want to check? GBTC. Mara's on our cross-up list, so I know that Bitcoin's doing fairly well. Beginning of the year. I don't need a weekly, but let's go to the strategy tester. Mara's not even halfway back to where it was. You can see that in the weekly. 1420. Buy. You're at 1398. You're just floundering. Larry. Morning. Hey, and I don't know if you guys joined late. Do you guys see the chat? I posted a article. I'll post it in the newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go down below the link tree. There's a newsletter. I posted the first one yesterday. It'll arrive after I do the podcast because I want to include all the stuff. See, and here's the thing. It's funny. I don't like the graphics on it. There's a couple of things that I have to. This is if you went to the website and just looked at the thing. What I like about going to the website versus the email that shows up. The email shows up. It looks like just the $ and SPY, $Q. It doesn't have hyperlinks like this, and it doesn't show the current price. So I kind of like the website more. And the strange thing is it didn't include hyperlinks here, like the TrendSpider link. Did include the link tree, but I've got a lot to do on this. So I'm still a boomer learning a new tool. Let's look at SPY. 418. I mean, here's the thing. This 415 line right here, it's providing support. I mean, this is the 4 hour. You're still in at 411. Do you come down here to back to 411? I mean, you got this gap between 407 and 408. There's got to be a catalyst to bring it down. You know, maybe the catalyst is the unemployment number. Maybe the catalyst is the Fed actually raising instead of pausing. But you had Fed governors all day yesterday saying maybe it's not a stopping of raising. Maybe it's a pause. Maybe we pause in June. Because make no mistake about it, the Macy's earnings, the Costco earnings, all of that stuff, it showed a slowing consumer. So let me make sure Intel did get an upgrade. I have it in my notes that they got an upgrade. And it took them over 30. So if you got it under 30, that was great. I don't see an upgrade, but they did get an upgrade yesterday. It's at 31.44. This is a stock that $30 is the swing. Let's see. SPY 420 remains resistance. QQQ 350 remains resistance. Yeah. Let's look at QQQ, the Qs. Yeah, 347. I mean, it's bouncing right off at 350. Now, here's the thing. We haven't been up in this territory for a while, but you can see that gap right there was filled. So we'd have to go back to view other gaps, which, you know, sometimes it's just too far back to actually fill. But on the Qs, your highs were $400.20. And you're at 350. You've made your way halfway back. More than halfway back. The lows in October 2022, October of last year, around 260, 270. You know, 200 to 400 is 300, 250 to 400, it's about 320. You're at 347. So you've made your way halfway back. So if you want to buy Qs, I don't think, you're getting back here at some point in time. That's clear from this chart. I mean, if we pull this all the way back, any pullback towards the 200-day, this is the 2006 to 15. I don't know what the hell happened there. This is the 2018 when we pulled the rug. Tried to raise rates and it just sank. This is COVID. I mean, let's go to a monthly and you'll see. We're not even at the 200-day. You just crossed the 50-day. That 50-day is a good barometer because when you cross it, you just wind up going up. But this is 2008. This is the housing crisis. This is the dot bomb. 2000. This was when you split 2 for 1. It's a good split 2 for 1 because it was flying so much. The freaking indices split 2 for 1. But you went from $100 a share, just it was over 100, all the way down to 220. What's that? 80% loss. If for some ungodly known reason this happens again because of AI, you've still got a long way to run up. It's my take on it. But Novogratz is on. Bitcoin posts worst month since November. Doesn't matter. It's still, I mean, listen, Bitcoin's going to be Bitcoin. Let's cut this. I'm ordering my topics. Pass the House, Senate. We have some douchebags. We have some douchebag senators, by the way. Really douchebag senators. Rand Paul, Mike Lee. They've come out and they said they want to delay the vote in the Senate because they don't like the bill. Well, I'm sorry you don't like the bill, but the alternative to this bill is far worse. So, okay. I think I'm going to start the pod now. It's 8:48. I got the scans done. Hit the thumbs up button. By the way, there are two things, and I'll mention this in the pod too. If you have not subscribed to the newsletter, wow, there's a guy coming down my street with his dog and a backpack like he's homeless. Huh. I live on a cul-de-sac, so your boy's one of these bougie folks who lives in the burbs. Let me just see if I see. Okay, the dog's going to start barking, so you may hear me yell. No, Penny. No, ma'am. You know what? Let's go and see what is trending as far as pre-market activity. We've got T2 Biosystems that's up 29%. There's nothing flying more than 100%. You got UPower up 61%. UCAR. Let's look at UCAR over here on the charts. I don't even know what they do. Ooh. Ooh. What happened here? No more data. I guess that's an IPO, April 20th. But oof. If you bought this IPO at $35 2 months ago, oof. Hey, I got this right here is the equivalent of so somebody in your office knows that you're you're into stocks. Hey, I got a stock for you. It's UCAR. They're gonna make a fortune, dude. They're revolutionizing cars. Let's see what they do. UCAR. They're revolutionizing. It's gonna fly. Auto and truck dealerships. Develops, manufactures, and sells new energy vehicles and battery swapping stations in People's Republic of China. Offers battery swapping and sourcing services. The company was founded in 2013 and is based in Shanghai, the People's Republic of China. So, for me, it's a Chinese company, not audited, not realistic. China, the government could prop it up. You are down 92% year to date. It's not covered. You are losing $5 million a year, but your market cap is $165 million. Your cash on hand, 3 cents per share. So what's 52 million times 0.03?
It's 1,560,000.
So you're losing $5 million a year, but you only have $1.5 million of cash on hand. Not one that I would say, hey, let's put some money into it, even though it's up 62%. This could be a short squeeze. They have 54 million shares outstanding. Short interest, 0.25 million. So it doesn't look like it from the data that it's a short squeeze, but oof. Boy, that's ugly. Okay. Today's pod notes. Oh, we'll just use this one. This one looks better. It's got a cooler tab here. Okay. Let's go to the home. I think the... So here's the heat map. Pfizer was, just outstanding. 2.73%. Healthcare looks like it might be coming back just based on the heat chart. Dexcom up 3%. We got that one on a cross up now. Tesla up 1%. Verizon up 2%. NVIDIA down 5%, but it's coming back. Let me see. NVIDIA is at 381. It closed at 378. I am still holding. I identified it as long-term, so I will add to it on the pullback. Banking, bad. What's Schwab doing? Yeah, that dude just came back up. Maybe he's training for something, a hike or something. But he's got a dog. I think he must be training for a through hike or something. I'm waiting for one of my Karen neighbors. He's dressed in camouflage with a camouflage pack with a little snowball-like dog on a waist leash. And he's got full pack. Full, and he's got an army, he's not dressed in fatigues. It's camo shorts, camo shirt with a camo kind of army hat, one of those squared off hats. So he definitely does not look like he's out for an afternoon walk with his dog. But maybe he's just training for a hike because our hill, I live in a cul-de-sac, but the hill is, I think, 100 feet down. It's only 26 homes, but it's like 100 feet down, 100 feet up. So it's quite a grade. Let's just say during snowpocalypse, everybody was parking up at my house at the top of the hill. Nobody was going down to the bottom of the hill. And if you don't know snowpocalypse, look up snowpocalypse Atlanta. You'll find some pretty interesting pictures. Your boy was in Guatemala during the snowpocalypse. I had to cancel my flight back. I think I was delayed about 3 or 4 days. Yeah, poor me, on a business trip to Guatemala where I had to tell my boss, I can't come back. You're going to have to pay for me to stay in Guatemala's Antigua. I went to, I hiked Pacaya volcano. I wanted to hike Fuego, but Fuego was actively erupting at the time and I could not hike it. So... okay, let's start out with SPY. I am going to start this podcast. I was learning about Final Cut Pro and the other one, Logic Pro, on the iPad before I started doing the stocks this morning. Okay, Thursday. We're going to start this. Good morning. It's Thursday, June 1st. Welcome to June. It's June. So sell in May and go away. You should have sold yesterday. Market was down overall yesterday. Not crazy down. It was even. I've gotten lucky, I think. Apple is kind of held up here at 177. My portfolio is held up, even though the past 2 days have been rather dismal for some of these the indices. I've made money both days, not a lot. It's 4 figures. It's not like 4 or 5 figures or anything like that. But it's enough that, hey, I'm happy the indices. I'm beating the indices. The news on the TV right now is that Meta threatens to pull news in California over the journalism bill. I don't know too much about that. I'm still bullish on Meta. No freaking person or senator should vote for a bill if Facebook is going to take it away from the 35 and 40-year-old Karens who want to post their kids. So I just that thread alone will probably change some legislation. But yeah, the Karen, let's just say, we'll bring up Target. The Karens are strong. First notification. I started a newsletter. Your boy is now in the newsletter business. It is free, 100% free. It is the notes from the podcast. It will arrive in your email box the second I post the podcast and the YouTube video. So sign up. There's a link tree down below, and you'll see sign up for the newsletter in that link tree. Just click that link, enter in your email address. I've been putting it in, and thank you to everybody. Overwhelming response with signups. I think I posted it on Twitter, I posted it on Instagram, and I posted it in the private Facebook group. But overwhelming response, and I was talking with the My Weekly Stock newsletter guy, and if you haven't subscribed to his, absolutely 100%, I recommend his. His is a once a week recap that you get on Saturdays, and on Mondays. Before the market opens, he sends you his weekly pick. And you can check out, he tracks his performance. Unbelievable for performance. But sign up for his. We were talking yesterday because I'm on a kind of a learning curve with newsletters. And you can see one of the things that I actually like about the website. If you got it in your email box yesterday, and you'll get it again today, I'll post it again today. But I like on the website, it's got these hyperlinks to the current performance of all of the symbols that I post. When you get it in your inbox, it doesn't have that, and I don't know how to insert it. So I'll do some research. But if you click on the link from your inbox, you can it kind of points it out a little bit better with some colors, red for down, and green for up. So as far as yesterday goes, looks like the scans, some of them are down. DRN down 2% right now. Intel was a great call because they got an upgrade. We'll talk about that one, up 5.26%. Simon Property Group up 1%. Uber up 0.54. But this email, it's my notes. So definitely hit the link tree down below. Subscribe to that one. The other thing that I want to remind you guys to do, if you are new listeners and you're listening on Spotify, there is a simple rate up above where you just click 5 stars. If you've listened to more than one episode, just click the 5 stars. If you haven't yet, listen to more episodes and then click the 5 stars because I know you'll love it. Apple Podcasts, it's a little bit more in depth to try and rate it. But I certainly appreciate if you would go through on Apple Podcasts and rate the podcast. It definitely helps. I think I'm past the quote-unquote growth period since I've been doing this for a couple of years now. So, but it would definitely help. Let's talk about some news. Debt ceiling passed the House. McCarthy said he would deliver 150 votes. He delivered 149. In my book, that's not crossing the finish line, but the bill got passed. The wackos were out there saying stuff about it. And let's be clear. Even though there were Democrats who voted no and Republicans who voted no, those were symbolic FUs and basically douchebag people on both sides. They were symbolic in the fact that these people, well, I can't support this. Well, F you. You can't support a bill that avoids default. You want the United States to default. You want China to actually become stronger and maybe take over the world currency. Let's just be honest. That's exactly what those no votes were. But I understand they were symbolic no votes. The Senate, it goes to the Senate, I believe, today or tomorrow. We have major douchebags, mainly on the Republican side. The two that I saw were Rand Paul and Mike Lee. Mike Lee is from Utah, and Rand Paul is from Kentucky. And Kentucky takes more money from the federal government than they give. Let's just be honest. There are some states that give way more and some states that actually take more. Kentucky is one that takes a tremendous amount more. Yeah, they want to slow it down. So if they are successful, we go into the weekend. We may not have a vote until the weekend. You're pushing it up against. And remember, 2011, we didn't get the downgrade until after the extension. So we got the downgrade after the extension. So as we move closer, just realize if you are voting for people, remind yourself who you're voting for. If they are part of the problem and not part of the solution, I think you should vote them out. But obviously, this may just be not your not the leg you want to stand on. John brings up Fed is going to immediately need to sell bonds. Don't you think rates will go up based on $800 billion of sales? Yeah, I think the market will start to catch up to the Fed. I absolutely think interjecting liquidity into this market is going to probably do something. It could break something. That's why I think the Fed's going to pause. I don't think they're stopping. I think they're going to pause, but I think in July they're going to have to raise. But I don't think they raised this time. There were enough Fed governors yesterday that said, hey, a pause doesn't mean stopping. So a pause may just mean in June we don't raise. Let's talk about SPY. SPY, 420 is just resistance. I mean, we're not holding it. You can see on this 65-minute chart, yesterday the SPY got you out with a 0.85% gain. It was clear what the button hook was happening, and I said, hey, get ready for this button hook, and it happened. Still hasn't gotten you in. The MACD down here, you're not crossing up. This is the 4-hour algorithm. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on the 65-minute algorithm. Let's go to the 4-hour. On the 4-hour algorithm, you're still in. And you got this ascending wedge. 420, 415 is the top of this wedge. The top of the wedge isn't necessarily support or resistance. It's just, hey, that's where three things can touch, and we're going through, blah, blah, blah. 420 is the resistance on the market. That's 100% what it is. If you get down here to the 50-day at 413, I would be slightly concerned because the 50-day is a bit stretched from the 200-day, but it's not like this hasn't happened before. You can see when it gets really stretched, you start to come back down, and that took us down in March. But I think there's enough catalysts in the system to hold this one up and make the 200-day actually come up to the 50-day rather than the 50-day moving negative. Remember, don't fight the trend. The trend is your friend. There's a shit ton of sayings about that. But the 200-day is positive, the 50-day is positive, the 9-day is positive, and the 21-day is positive. 9-day is the first one that's going to move negative, and it's moving horizontally. So maybe you have some capitulation. Your RSI is at 55. It's in no man's land. If we look at the weekly on this one, and remember the weekly needs to hold that 420 in order to turn 420 from resistance to support. We're at 417 right now in pre-market. I don't know that you're going to get to 420. I think 418 is probably where you're going to hold today and tomorrow. I just don't see a lot moving this market. Tomorrow, you've got jobs numbers coming out for the month. If that's super, super hot, we could see the Fed maybe raise in June. But they're saying right now they're kind of setting it up for a pause. Qs, SPY, let's be honest, SPY 420 remains resistance. I have in my notes. QQQ 350 remains resistance. And you've got 347. What I really want to show you on the Qs is the weekly, because those highs back in 2021 of around 410, I think it's around 408 was the high. You've only made 50% of this back. So right now you can see we peaked out here in August at 334. You're at 347, so you passed that by. Higher highs? Yeah. I mean, again, higher highs. So I think we're going back to that. You might see another resistance at this part, 373. 350, I think, is the resistance right now. So if we end this week at 350, I think you're fine. I mean, close to 350. Again, it's resistance. You need a catalyst to get us over that. Intel. We talked about, I saw a meme yesterday. Imagine you're overweighted on chips. But Intel is the only chip that you own. Intel is it's a $30 stock. It got an upgrade, and $30 is your swing. We mentioned it yesterday. It was up 5%. It got a cross up. If you got in the morning, if you got in on this one at 29.88 and you got in under 30, hey, look to make your 10%. I'd say get out. You're going to get an opportunity to buy this under 30 as well. The RSI is at 62. It's coming off the morning candle at 66. I think you're going to trend downward. In pre-market, you're up 0.73% at 31.63. I think it's, hey, if you traded this one, I think Willie traded this one before. I think 30 is your swing. Buy it under 30, sell it over 30. Let's talk about Target. Interesting Twitter debate that I had going back and forth was the best comment I liked was, the strength of the Karens is strong. So understand that's what's bringing this down. There are a ton of things on FinViz about how Target is about. Nobody mentions the social issues that Target is dealing with right now. Look at the volume. The volume in this is enormous. I don't know that it's a buy right now at 130. It's down another 1.7% at 128. I don't know where the support level is. Honest to God, I just don't know where the support level is. Right now, it does not have confirmation. You're seeing this basically a huge move down. Make no mistake, this is not an ascending wedge. That was a broken ascending wedge. Even this descending wedge, it's broken out below that. If I move this back, I want to find the volume weight. Let's move this. I'm going to do a 4 hour on this one. We're going to run this. But at my mind, I think at some point in time, and we're going to pull this back to here. Where are people holding here? There is the majority of people still holding up here at about 150. These are obviously getting some support down here at about 130, but you don't have support below this. I mean, honest to God, I just don't know where the support is. And remember, you've got a further gap. If we go back here, you've got a further gap from last year, their earnings. It was May of 2022. This was the inventory problem, and you've got this gap from 211 down to 167. If they can get this under control, social, and remember, Bud Light is kind of in the same situation. I would expect, I saw a news story last night, that conservatives are going after Chick-fil-A. If you know anything about Chick-fil-A and that family that owns Chick-fil-A, it's not a public company. It is a Christian family who is hugely, I have friends here in Atlanta who work for Chick-fil-A. It is a very religious company. And conservatives are after them for some reason. I think it's some policy or something. It's getting out of control. That's my thing. If you have a problem with a company, just don't shop there. Don't destroy property. Don't be violent. The Karens. I thought the best thing was the Target dude who was parading around in Target, protesting against them having Pride bathing suits for teenage girls. Pride bathing suits for teenage girls. He was parading around. Dude's been on Grindr for years. Yeah. Again, don't be a Karen. But Target at some point in time, in my mind, becomes a buy. I just don't know where the bottom falls. And that's the problem. I mean, look at that RSI. The RSI is down at 18. If they haven't announced that they're affected by these sales, they haven't pre-announced that, hey, our sales are down. They haven't announced anything. So my hope is that for some, again, good companies with good management, with good products and good earnings. This one has good earnings. It has good products. The management, questionable. The company, I think it's a good company. And I don't think that the management is questionable in that they're doing anything wrong. I just think that they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So, Salesforce. This one's interesting. It is down 7%. Nobody knows why. The earnings were okay. They raised guidance for the next quarter. While they raised guidance for the next quarter, they didn't raise it for the next year. So the question becomes, what is behind the curtain? If they raised it for the next quarter but didn't raise it for the year, are they saying that maybe next quarter we might have to stretch and maybe we'll have to make an announcement if the consumer is weak? That's where you are with CRM. Dan Ives said he doesn't know why it pulled back, but he raised his price target to 240. Make no mistake about it. Salesforce is an expensive stock. Its PE is 1,084, but the forward PE is 25. Even at 25 forward, that's a bit tough. Oh, come on. I think my FinViz just screwed up. Year to date, you're up 68%. So it has run performance for 1 year. You're up 35%. Don't bet against Mark Benioff. The average target price is 227. That does not include the most recent upgrades. So you're trading at 207 right now. So even if you were to get to yesterday's price at 223, 10%. So in my mind, I think this is the problem that you're going to have, and I want to point this out in the chart, is if you go back to the weekly, look at how bad that dropped. And we got back to the 200-day. Are we in for another drop from Salesforce? If you have a weak business climate, are we in for that? So the other one that was rather confusing, and on the private Facebook group, there were some people asking, how did CrowdStrike beat? What happened? Because their full year guide was slightly conservative, but it wasn't underwhelming. They are down 8.82 at 146. Now, first off, let's go to FinViz. It is an expensive stock. They're not making money. They are losing $183 million. The forward PE is 53. It is also up 52% year to date. So why is it down 8%? The buy here was at 122. You're trading in pre-market at 146, which would pull you down here where you can see there's a good volume shelf right there of support. I think it's a buy. So here's the note. The cybersecurity firm stock tumbled 12% in after-hours trading after the company reported slowing revenue growth. CrowdStrike reported quarterly revenue of $692 million, marking a 42% year-over-year increase. I repeat, a 42% year-over-year increase. It's slower than the 61% it reported a year ago. So, as a company grows into these crazy valuations, and they're reporting an increase of $692 million, that's almost $1 billion in a quarter. Almost. You're about 400, it's about 65% of 69% of 1 billion. I mean, that's marking what they wanted a 7, I think, an 800 million increase in the quarter. So I think, again, I personally own this one. I own this one, I think, at about $180 average price because I didn't size myself correctly and I went too large in. And if you take a look at the weekly, I went too large in at about this point, somewhere in this neighborhood. I had the opportunity to sell. I wrote it all the way down. Just bad management on my part. But it doesn't mean that you're, again, good company. It doesn't have good earnings yet, but it will, making almost $1 billion a quarter. It absolutely will. A good company with good earnings, good management, and good products. This one's going to be fine. You're losing $183 million, but its market cap is $36 billion. At some point in the near future, with $692 million increase in reported revenue, and you're only losing $183. When these guys announce that they are cash flow positive, it's a $200 stock again. So at 146, I don't think you're in any danger of buying this one or holding it. Let's go to cars. One that has been brought up before, Faraday, which I think is one that Sherry buys with her lunch money. It announced its new car prices. Its entry-level car is $309,000. $309,000. Now, mind you, they have not made a car yet, so they're beginning production. But in order to buy one of these cars, it's $309,000. I would not expect this one to fly off the shelves per se. I would read the article. I'll post it in the newsletter. If you want the link for the article, I will post it there. You can read about it. As somebody who bought a Tesla early on, it was 2018, not super early. They had one service center here in Atlanta, but I talked to a few friends that were out in the way, kind of St. Louis, Midwest, the flyover states. They didn't have service centers, so if they would have bought a Tesla, where do you take it for service? And Faraday, am I spending $309,000 on a car where they don't have a service center? I mean, that better come with lifetime warranty for $309,000. But you can see here, 24 cents. It is down 6% in pre-market at 23 cents. If you got in here at 16 cents, kudos. I would get out. That 27% gain that you got here on that bump, great. They're not making money at $309,000. I can't imagine revenues will be significant. The AI hype continues, but the artificial intelligence company yesterday, C3 they reported they saw its shares tumble 18%. It's down 19% right now after it beat expectations on the top and bottom line for its fiscal fourth quarter, according to Refin ITV. C3 expects to see fiscal first quarter revenue of between $70 million and $72 million, which is less rosy than Wall Street has expected. Remember, CrowdStrike had an increase in quarterly revenue of $692 million. This is a small company. Do not buy into the hype. The stock has skyrocketed more than 250% this year amid Wall Street's enthusiasm towards AI, soft revenue guidance, and it's just got to be hype. I mean, again, they give soft revenue guidance. So with soft revenue guidance, what makes you think it's not a $10 stock? This company, I just think it's all hype. So be careful. If you got it at 18 and you sold it here at 40, kudos to you. Yesterday I said be careful. I think the rug pull is going to happen. It happened. On this one, if you get back into the 20s, I would buy it. The hype is strong. If you get back to 29, you're at 32 right now. If you get back to 29, I'd buy it. Higher highs. Look, higher high here, boom. Higher high here, boom. Higher high here. You're going to get a trend of higher highs as long as the train is still going. One that I've had friends put in before, and I probably should invest in, but I don't use their product. It's Chewy. The pet retailer shares jumped about 12%. Chewy posted earnings of 5 cents a share, defying analyst predictions of a loss of 4 cents per share, according to Refin TV. Revenue came in ahead of expectations at $2.78 billion versus $2.73 billion anticipated by Wall Street. This is a huge pet company. Now, what I heard from the CEO yesterday was that 73% of their revenue comes from their buy and subscribe. So it's just subscription based. So it's a strong revenue base because when people subscribe and they continue to get it delivered, they don't leave. So if we look at Chewy is up right now 19% in pre-market. Their market cap is $12.45 billion. They have income of $49 million. It is down 20% year to date. I don't think they are out of the water. They do have some debt issues. The PE is just crazy. I mean, at $30, the PE is 256. The forward PE is 192. So make no mistake, it is an expensive stock. Just understand that the majority of their business is super sticky. It is super sticky. So I think 30 might be your swing on this one, and it's at 32. Just understand that even with earnings, any reaction is an overreaction. Look at this one. They made 1 cent per share here, and it popped up. And then it just came back. And this one, you're going to see it pop up to about 32.25, right about here. You're going to see it pop up just above the 50-day. You had this death cross. Once it gets above that 50-day, if that 50-day starts moving positive, you may get back to 37, 38. So maybe you get back to 29. If you're interested in this one, watch it. I do not use their products. It is a pet company. You guys know how I feel about my dogs. It is 100% a good company. And I actually like the management of that team. I just think their debt problems get into them. One that I really like, and I've talked it up, and I did not bring it up yesterday. The reason I brought it up and didn't bring it up, I was afraid, but I was actually thinking, I saw an analyst who said that Macy's is just super cheap right now on a cost basis. So if you look at Macy's in FinViz, $3.61 billion, that's a super small. I mean, think about Macy's, how the name. Its PE is 3. It's got a 4.87% dividend. It is down 34% year to date. I am not shopping at Macy's, but their e-commerce has been very good. I've gone on to buy towels on their e-commerce. It's great. And I can go over and pick it up. It's not free shipping to your home, but it's free shipping to the stores. So Thursday, Wall Street's earnings expectations, but it beat the expectations, but it cut its full year guidance after discretionary sales weakened significantly in March. It may be well worth the risk. I think it's just cheap. And you've got this dividend out here. It is down 3%. I think it was down somewhere in the neighborhood of 12. I would say if you can get this at $12, I think you're okay. Here's what I have to tell you, though. Don't fight the trend. We went over this earlier, and I said there's about 7 different sayings on this. Don't fight the trend. Look at that 200-day. Look at the 50-day. Look at the 9-day. Look at the 21-day, and you're winding up down even further. So I would be super, super careful. In my mind, I think this is guiding us to a super weak consumer. Costco pulled back a little bit, but their price targets went up. I think they're going to have a membership increase at some point in time. It's at $510 right now. I told you guys buy it at $480. I just thought that one was crazy cheap. Macy's, I think you're gambling on. But I don't think it's a crazy gamble. And the reason I don't think it's a crazy gamble is because I do use the service. Their e-commerce is good, but I am not a heavy user. This is not like, oh my God, Macy's is coming out with a new headset like Apple is. I'm going to go to Macy's and buy it. No, Apple is significantly stronger than Macy's. So I did post an article here, and I'll put it in the newsletter as well. It's a wealth of common sense, the world's worst market timer. It's about a guy named Bob, and this is the article. I read this about 4 or 5 times a year, just to remind myself, basically to ask ChatGPT to summarize it, take a look at it, subscribe to the newsletter to actually read it, bookmark it. Because when you lose money on a good company with good management, with good earnings and good products, think about Bob. That's all I've got to tell you. Subscribe to the newsletter and you'll get the link in there. And the reason why I say that is there was a guy in the Facebook group, and I won't name his name, but he posted publicly, maybe he doesn't mind me, but I'll respect some privacy. Again, the Facebook group is private for a reason. It's a group of investors and traders who we share some things. But he said he's paid off all his debt. Kudos to you, by the way. And he's got about $200 a week after paying off his debt to invest. Where should he do it? And I said, hey, I'm a tech guy. Buy Apple. I said buy a good base of something like VOO, and then just roll that, start rolling it up until you have a base. Then buy 4 or 5 different stocks to add to that, and just make sure you got a good, if your individual stocks are not beating the S&P, maybe you're not made to be a stock picker. It's a good way to do it. But it reminded me of Bob when people ask me what's a good time to buy. Well, if it's a good company with good earnings, good product, or it's just an index, when the best time to buy? It's now. And so read Bob. CSX. Oh, one other thing in the Facebook groups. People started asking me about 3D printing companies. I've been asked a few times about 3D printing companies. Guys, I'm a tech guy. 3D printing, I think it's going to revolutionize manufacturing. I don't think it's built for the home consumer. And I say that as a guy who doesn't even have a paper printer in his house. I don't. I think a few years ago, my old laser it was a laser printer, not dot matrix. It was a laser printer. Might have been the other Jet Ink. I think it was Jet Ink printer, but they stopped supporting it on the Apple operating system. So it was a Canon. I could have bought a new one. Decided not to. I don't need paper. I don't want to kill trees. listen, I'm an environmentalist. I own a Tesla. Let me mansplain to you how to open the doors on a Tesla. If you haven't seen that video, it's hilarious. But yeah, and I always, whenever I have people come into the car, let me mansplain to you how to open the door. But 3D printing, what I told people was, in my mind, there's an ETF, PRNT. It's an ARC ETF. This is the one that I would go into if you're interested. I don't think you pick a winner because I don't think that I don't know a winner right now. I haven't researched it, but if you do, kudos to you. But PRNT is an ETF that ARC has. And it's a pretty good one. I mean, it's like any other ARC fund. It doesn't have high volume, so be aware. Getting in and out of this one might be a little bit tough, but it is a 3D printer one. CSX, the beige book came out yesterday, and transportation and shipping kind of in a recession already. That's what it said. That's what the headlines were saying. So shipping and things, but CSX Corporation, it got an upgrade. It is up 1.92%. It is closed below its 200-day. It's just above it now. You're in this ascending wedge, but you've kind of broken out of it. So ignore that one. Its ex-dividend date is gone. Your next earnings is somewhere in July. There's no real catalyst on this other than an upgrade. Let's see. Let's look at FinViz. CSX, they are a transportation. It's a railroad company, PE of 15. So it's a little bit expensive. Market cap of $62 billion. That's how bad Macy's is, by the way. The market cap is only $30 billion. It's half of what CSX is. They have a 1.43 dividend. Their average target price is $35.10. Even at today's 1% upgrade, it's at $31.26. You can see UBS, they upped the target price to $37. So it's down 1%. If you're into railroads, if you ever put your engineer cap on, do that. CSX is there. NVIDIA. Let's talk about NVIDIA. It crashed yesterday, 5%, 6%. We have a 3-day rule on this one. I usually do with that big of a gap. If it comes back down here to 367 by tomorrow, if it closes, any of these candles kind of get into that, this gap is in danger of actually being filled on the downside. If it holds above that, and right now in pre-market, it's trading at 385. So it is well above that 360. I wouldn't expect it to come down here, but if we have some crazy news or something, it might come back down there. I was listening to My First Millions, and Sam of that podcast that knew nothing about NVIDIA. He explained it perfectly. If you want to listen to the most recent episode of that podcast and listen to Sam explain it, he is not a tech guy. He understands nothing about tech. He didn't even know who NVIDIA was. He just basically looked at his portfolio, then called his financial guy and said, why am I that far up? And the guy said NVIDIA. He did a little research into NVIDIA, and he explained it perfectly. Hey, there's old chips and there's new chips. NVIDIA's new chips. It's the GPUs, not the CPUs. So if you want to know more about NVIDIA and you don't understand exactly what they do, listen to that one. It is a super, super overview of it. But NVIDIA is a great company. I do agree with Jim Cramer on this one, so mark this day in history. I think it's kind of like Apple. I don't think that you trade this one. And I say that knowing that riding this one all the way down, October of 2020 into the 93, is that 93? No, 123. Down there at 123. I didn't own this until 300. I missed what? 200%, 300%? I missed a lot. So that one's run quite a bit, but keep an eye on that gap. That gap right there is key, and the top of that gap is about 365, 363. If we dip into it, we're in danger. SOFI, told some friends yesterday, sell at 8. It's up. SOFI is down 2.45%. Probably sell at 7 was a better one, but SOFI is interesting because the debt deal includes repayment of student loans. So I like this one. I like you to buy it better towards this gap down here. High fives, low sixes. I think it's an $8 stock. So at some point, I think you pull the trigger. I just don't think right now it's down 2%. Market just opened. Let's talk about scans. I got a lot of scans. First one, Square. I have talked about PayPal being a good buy at 60. I think Square is similar. This one has a cross up, doesn't have the price because it's secondary cross up. Here at 57, that was the initial one. You're down 1% at 59. I think if you can buy this between 57 and 59, I think you do it. I think if you can get a 58 handle on this one, I think you do it. There's a gap up here. I currently own this one, and I own it at I think this is my biggest loser, to be honest with you, because I bought a ton, had a ton of gains in it. Didn't manage it correctly. It was stuck in a retirement fund. Didn't look at it. I look at my brokerage significantly more because I trade my brokerage. I had it somewhere, I think, in the 150 range is my average purchase price. I thought that this was another breakout, so I said, let me buy it. Wasn't. It's just continued to slide. They do have a cross up there. PayPal had a cross up on the 4-hour. We'll take a look at this. This has the button hook at $60. It's trading at 62. I said if you can get 59, even better. But I do think this is an $80 stock by the end of the year. There's this gap up here, and I think you're going to see it refill. Disney has a cross up. This is one that, hey, if you're going into Target, you might as well go into Disney. DeSantis is doubling down on his fight with Disney. It is 100% political. They can't win. They've got debt problems. If they do buy Hulu, they add debt. It's a horrible, horrible problem. But Chapek is out. Iger is in. I believe in Iger. You do have this gap here with the earnings between 95 and 100. I think it's a $100 stock. I own some. My average purchase price is in the 90s. So at 87, I probably should be adding more, but 87.69 is the cross up. Roblox, I would not buy this one under 40, over 40. It's at $42, $41.99. I would wait for this one to get under 40. You had this death cross here on May 19th, the 50-day crossing the 200-day. But you do have this gap up above between 40 and 41.95, which looks like it's filled right now. You got this gap below at 35. That's right where the buy is. This is a secondary cross up. This is a strong stock. I mean, make no mistake about it. With Meta backing out of the metaverse, this is a strong stock because these guys are actually making money doing it. They are not pulling a profit. They are just making money. TARK, which is the ARK 2 times levered ARK ETF. This one has a secondary cross up. The initial cross up was at $49.69. It is trading at $60.99. That $40.69 at the beginning of May. If you could have foreseen May and you could have seen the NASDAQ just shooting up. Oh, God. By the way, Snowflake is up again. Cloudflare's up. Cloud companies are just killing it. Snowflake's recovering. But TARK, this one has a cross up. It's a secondary cross up, continuing that. UDOW is a it is a triple levered. Yeah, Ultra Pro. This has a cross up at 53.11. It's trading at 52.27. This one, you'd have to believe, and let's take a look. This is year to date, the Dow, down 0.51. The S&P is up 9.72. So you'd have to believe that the Dow is going to come up. So the Dow is 30 stocks. It's energy, which has pulled it down. Energy is just doing horribly. QQQ is up 31%. So maybe they meet in the middle and the Qs come down to meet the SPY and Dow Jones comes up. If that's the case and you want to trade UDOW just had a cross up. XLC and XLU both had cross ups. ARKK, it's a secondary cross up. Remember, TARK is the double levered ETF for ARKK. ARKF also has a cross up. Mara, which we talk about a lot, I think under $10. I think it's at least a $10 stock. This one had a cross up at $9.48. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you lost money. You lost money on those. The 200-day is moving positive. The 50-day is moving negative. The 9 and 21 are moving negative. The RSI is in no man's land. I don't think it's a great price. My preference would be for you to wait for it to hit the 200-day at about $8. But if you own Bitcoin and you're bullish on Bitcoin, $9.48 for a crypto miner, not bad. I mean, Riot also is in there. When we get to the Dow stocks, AMZN had a cross up, AMGN. I'm not a big fan of this one. Hasn't been beaten down enough. Healthcare, I don't know. I mean, you're coming off, November 2022. You're up here at 287. You're at 214 right now. So AMZN had one. Verizon, this one has a killer. At some point, Verizon cuts that dividend, and it's a $20 stock when they cut it. It has not done you any good to own Verizon since April at 30. I do think it's a $40 stock. You're down at 35. Verizon has I think it's a 7%, just like AT&T, who comes up on our S&P scan. 7.33%. You're down 9% this year. So if you've held on to it, maybe you've made 7%, you've lost 9%. Its ex-dividend date is coming up on July 7th. Decent. WBA, which is Walgreens. I don't like Walgreens. It could be me. I never go to Walgreens. I never go to CVS. I go to Walmart. So if you believe in these guys in some of the healthcare stuff that they have, I just don't see it. Just don't see it. But it has a cross up at $30.38. I realize I am not every consumer. I am just my consumer. So I bring it up just to bring it up because it does, some of these scans are pretty good for people who want to invest in different areas. Dexcom. I have this line up here. I sent this to my dad. I told him you sell at 125 and you buy when it dips below 125. So in my mind, I think that 200-day at 114, it's trading at 116 right now. I think you could probably wait, but at 116, again, I refer back to Bob. When's the best time to buy? This is a killer stock. If you are diabetic, Dexcom. It is a blood monitoring. What the danger of this one is, if Apple announces at their developers conference next week, if they announce that the watch is able to monitor your blood sugar without injection, which they do have a patent filing for, if they are able to say that or even indicate that that's where they're going, Dexcom's down at $100. That will take Dexcom down to $100. You will see an enormous gap, and you will see it just crater. Dexcom is a monitoring. They are doing the same thing that Apple was just trying to monitor blood sugar via the skin. I would bet on Apple rather than Dexcom, but Dexcom's up there. It got a cross up. Zscaler, secondary cross up. I think we went over it yesterday. $89 was the initial cross up. You're up at $130. Great company. They just reported, or they're going to report earnings. This week, it is coming up. Is it today after the bell? It is post-market today. So Zscaler, maybe you want to take the chance, but it has run up. It just hasn't. I mean, if we look at the weekly, it hasn't run all the way back up. I mean, it hasn't even made its move back to 367. You're only at 130. It hasn't even made it to the 200-day on the weekly. So Zscaler, I think if you want to go into the cloud stuff, I think you could. Regeneron, I'm not a big fan. I mean, honestly, the weekly, you're still moving upwards in an upward trajectory. You've just kind of broken it down. Up here at 834, 736. Is that the bottom? I don't know. I see this enormous gap down here between 599 and 654. Healthcare just has not been a good one. WBD. This is one that I would probably trade carefully. Remember we talked about Netflix going through the password stuff. These guys don't even have enough users to worry about the password stuff. They're going through a rebranding. You're in the middle of a writer's strike, so content is going to be hard. Content is expensive, and that's what these guys are learning. Warner Brothers is learning content is expensive. And at $11.29, has it hit the bottom in December? You were at $9. So I'd be a little bit careful. It doesn't have confirmation above that 9-day. You just had the death cross on May 12th of the 50-day crossing the 200. Everything except for the 200 days in negative territory. So I would be a little bit careful. I think it was Joe said CI. He bought CI. I think he has TrendSpider, but he bought CI on a cross up, and it is close to crossing up. It's probably going to be in our cross ups tomorrow, but it's trading at 250. This is a healthcare. Healthcare has not been in favor. It is beaten down that 200 day. Just be aware the 200 day is still moving down. The 50 day is moving a little bit sideways. The 9 day is moving positive. The 21 day, it's kind of moving sideways as well. I'd be a little bit careful, but if you're going in long term, I think Cigna is a good company. I don't think you'll regret it. Duke Energy. And the only reason that I say you won't regret it is if they don't cut freaking Medicare and stuff. If you see Medicare, I mean, all those managed healthcare companies are going to die. Duke Energy, has it reached the bottom? I don't know. 89.30. The cost of energy is going up. These guys are utility, so they're restricted and raising prices. That's where you're seeing it. It's a utility. I mean, again, I think it's a $100 stock in a good market. We talked about AT&T when we talked about Verizon. This is just a dying stock. I don't know that I'd necessarily get into this one. They have screwed everything up. Everything that they've ever done, AT&T has screwed up. It's got a similar 7%. I think it's 7% dividend. $15.79. The only reason I bring this up, again, everything's moving negative, but the 9 days moving positive. You got a gap up here at 18. Do we get some type of catalyst that moves it up to 18? If I move this to a weekly and you look at this stock, this goes, let's pull it back even further. 2015, 2014. I mean, there hasn't been a reason to own this long term. So you can trade it at 15. I think if you get to 16 or 17 and you make your 10%, I think you get out. There's your podcast for today. Again, I started the newsletter, so look down below at the link tree. You can subscribe for free, completely for free. I did have a few people pledge like $80 a year that they would pay for that newsletter. So obviously the first one was probably a pretty good newsletter. So I would suggest you subscribe. It's probably easier to just get the email than to listen every day. But if you listen to me drive to work, I certainly appreciate it. It is great. And Christian is right. Batman will save WBD. And remember, Batman will stream on WBD. That's a big release coming in July. I think it's going to start streaming probably September or October, I would think. But they're going to do the same thing that they do with everything else, Christian. They're going to subscribe, and then they're just going to cancel it for a month. But if you have any questions, hit me up on the link tree. Remember, private Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram. There's an email address. If you don't have social media, you can always email me. Just sign up for the newsletter. That's the big one. Sponsors, if you're paying more than $25 for your phone bill, remember Verizon has visible service. And it's run by Verizon, and it's $25 a month. And I use it every day. I listen to podcasts. I don't stream a lot of video, but if you do stream a lot of video, maybe the upper plan, which is $35 a month, is better for you. So it's a great, great service. It is contract free. So you sign up. Your first month is $20 off, so you can get it in as low as $5. So just if you have an eSIM, and who doesn't have an eSIM, but just get it. It's $5. Test it out. Test the speed out. If you don't like it, hey, no harm, no foul. It's less than a cup of coffee. So second sponsor is TrendSpider. If you like the charts that I share, and you like the things that I show and the entries and exits, listen, I'm not on the air every day. I'm going to take a lot of days off over the summer. I'm working every day in July, August, and September with like a week off. You will not hear from me. I may send out the newsletter, but more than likely, you're going to need to do this on your own. So subscribe to TrendSpider. The code DSP25 saves you 25%. Look at this Apple. And over 2 years, the algorithm makes you 56% versus just 44% in the asset. Hey, I am not complaining about 44% just buying and holding. You're still in this one. It got you in at 153. This one got you in at 127 with a nice 17% gain. You could have gotten out up here. I don't trade Apple. I just own it. I buy it every time. Dividend comes out. I get thousands of dollars in dividends. So I just reinvest those dividends. So it continues to grow. And again, their developer conference is next week. But if you like these charts, if you like the entry, take a motion, you don't not only get these entries and exits, you get the 4-hour algorithm, you get the 65-minute algorithm. You get all the watch lists. And you also get the scanners that I use. So when I'm on vacation, you can scan for yourself. Shit. You don't even have to listen to me if you get TrendSpider. I mean, I would listen to me just because I'm entertaining. But yeah. So any other questions, hit me up. I think I've covered everything. 51 minutes. It's long. Man, I talk a lot. Okay. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Okay. Now I got to read all your comments. Let me just 51 minutes. Holy crap. And I said nothing, I don't think. Hey, and by the way, for everybody who subscribed to the, I was overwhelmed. Thank you. I got a message from Substack. Who are you? Because I got so many in one day. I posted it on Instagram and they wrote back, "We saw the increase. Congratulations. Who are you?" Because I guess I opened that Substack up a while ago. Yeah, Brandon. Kathy Woods is right. Kathy Woods understands economics. She knows her stuff. Okay, I'm moving you over Fidelity. Look, NVIDIA, it's up 1.52. Brian, I don't hate the Democrats. I don't hate the Republicans. I hate the extreme wing of both sides. I think, listen, my take on Democrats is they feel that the economy can grow with the government spending. The Republicans feel that private investment will make the government grow, will make the economy grow faster and better. It's just two different sides of the same coin that our forefathers found were probably best to hammer it out and in compromise. And unfortunately, today you don't have compromise. So our founding fathers would be absolutely appalled and ashamed of what they've created. Just because if you go back, there's a great 60 Minutes piece, and I'll post it if I can find it, from the early 2000s that did a comparison of Senate voting, Senate and House voting. I think it was both. About our economy's growth and where compromise, meaning people crossed party lines to vote. And during the biggest economic booms of our economy, I think it was 60% of Congress actually had a cross-party vote. Today, or when this thing was taken, I think it was closer to 50%, and they said we were worried about that. Historians said they were worried about it. Today, it's maybe 20, maybe 10. It's gotten, so divided, but I like Applied Materials. I don't, Kramer, listen, Kramer's a douchebag. He does understand that, he's got people that work for him that explain things to him much more than I have. It's just me reading. But Applied Materials, I think it's AMAT. Yeah, AMAT. It's at its highs. So I'd be a little bit careful. Let's see the 52-week over here. I got to move you back. Let me move you back because I haven't started uploading. Applied Materials, the PE17, they make the semiconductor equipment. So as long as NVIDIA, as long as Intel, as long as AMD, and all the other chip makers, Apple, these guys make that equipment. With the CHIPS Act, I think this one gets a boost, and you can see ever since it's 3% off its 52-week high. The average target price is 134. So I'd be a little bit careful of this one just because it's run up so much and it's at those highs. Let me see where their earnings, they've already passed. Their ex-dividend date is passed. And you're going to come back down here to cover this gap at about 122. I think I'd buy it if it hits the 200-day. Outside of that, but, here, look at the weekly. I mean, you can't argue with that. This is pandemic where it dipped down to 43 under the 200-day. This one, it dipped down under the 200-day in October in the lows. Every time on the weekly, if it dips below that 200-day, you can be assured, hey, we're going back there. And your all-time high is here at 163. So I don't think you're hurting yourself by buying at 132. I just think you can get it in the 120s if you want. That's my take on Applied Materials, but it's a good company because they're one of the few that makes that equipment. So I think you're fine. And I give Kramer a lot of shit. My problem with Kramer is he makes it seem like he Lilium. Let me look up Lilium. Hold on, let me upload this stuff. LILM. Let me upload this real quick. June 1st, upload. We're going to do a new episode. And I got to browse. Where's my podcast? There it is. And we're going to, this is a new interface. Oh, they got a new interface. I'm going to do swapping tubes. And insert ad. And what am I going to title this? And we're going to put this copy. SMCI. I think I went over that one yesterday, John. Al Jr. I'll look at it in a second. But SMCI, I think I went over it yesterday. I would tend to agree with you, John. I just don't think that one. I think it's more hype than anything, but it's gone up. I don't know a lot about them, but it has gone up so much that I can't believe that it continues that. Thanks, Eric. I thought it was crappy, but I appreciate it when people tell me I do a good job. Copy. V. And then, okay. Remember, buy Tesla. 10% up. I'm going to put that in the newsletter. Maybe that should be copy. that in. SOFI could go to 8. Target and Macy's. And we're going to put that as the title. And I am going to copy, publish now. We're all set. Publish this. Then I got to go to Canva real quick. And I got to do let me just update this and then I'll look at your stuff. It's only 10 o'clock. My housekeeper was supposed to come, but she's sick. She had to put her dog down. So, oh, now my parents are like, you buy it. Okay, I'm going to use this one. Oh, come on. I got to redo my YouTube channel too. Share, download. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Quit. Boom, boom, boom. And then, oh no, I didn't want to do that. Stay on page. Okay. Whew, thank God, YouTube. I hit the wrong thing. Green Gaming. 6-1. Okay, there we go. No, it's not made for kids. Next. Publish. Okay. Close. I'm going to close this. Okay, let me move you back to Safari. And for LILM, let's look at it. Lilium, boy, that looks ugly. NV. So it's got warrants. It's an aerospace and defense from Germany. Engages in the research development of electrical vertical takeoff and landing aircrafts and jets for use in high-speed air transport for people and goods. Just reading that description and knowing that they're losing $271 million and their market cap is only $417 million, down 10%. It's down 7.5% on the shareholder letter. Average target price, $3.25. It's at $1.02. long term, I think you just it's a risk. Personally, I wouldn't put money into this. I think vertical takeoff and landing is ridiculous. I think if that's actually an industry, I think SpaceX is going to figure it out. Remember, so I saw a great video on, Macy's has really come back and CrowdStrike has come back. Everything's coming back. But I saw a great video about how UPS and FedEx, their international deliveries will actually be taken over by FedEx, by Blue Origin, and the space companies, because the cost of shipping goods with the time frame is going, and even it will be cheaper than actually sailing across the ocean. And that's the way we're going with the price per pound of propellant in space vehicles going. You will be able to make a flight that will go up to space, and this is what Virgin Orbit was trying to do, but it will take off, it will go to space. You will use significantly less fuel, and it will come down. You will be able to deliver things from New York to Japan in 2 hours. So whether that be people, whether that be materials, whether that be goods, you will be able to ship those things. So there will be, there still will be things that you will want to ship via the ocean, like oil and things like, that could cause significant environmental damage with shipping out into space. But I don't see you've got a $417 million cap. You're losing $271 million. It doesn't look like you have any sales. So long term, Yeah, and they don't have enough cash. I mean, they only have 61 cents per cash. They have 397 million shares outstanding. So you have 400 million. You're going to have to do another raise. They're losing to it. They have no revenue. So they'll have to do another raise. So long term, I don't like it. Trade it. SMCI. I know we've gone over the fundamentals on this one. It is up 2% today at 229. Honestly, John, I would say anything above 230. I mean, you got to about almost 240. What are you waiting for? But, yeah, Joe, by the way, Al, Joe is the expert kind of aero industry guy. He knows that entire industry. So, I think it's a hype. Not going to talk you out of trading it. I just don't. I wouldn't buy it and then say, "Oh my God!" It's kind of like buying Yahoo or AOL. They were going to transform the internet. Where are they today? Nowhere. So, Bank of America is down at 27. I would say if you want a long term, buy Bank of America at 27. Once this banking crisis is open, I think you'll be fine. Dollar General is down 16%. The dollar stores have just been getting killed by Walmart. That's where people are going. They're not going to the dollar stores. They're going to Walmart. So, okay, I'm going to bring you back to Fidelity so you can watch NVIDIA up 3%. It's going back to 400. It's going back to 400. Substack. Now I got to figure out how to do this newsletter. Activity. Oh, reader liked the post. Yay. Let's see. We're going to do a new post, I think. Yes. And then I'm going to title this notes. Enter subtitle. You too, John. Yeah. I mean, take a look at the fundamentals of that company, and it just doesn't look like, will it grow into Apple? It could. Could be Boeing. But I think you're better off putting your money on black. Go to the roulette tables, put your money on black. My subtitle, let me see. What did I want to do? Your cell phone. Okay. We're going to put this down here. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to get edit title and description. We're going to put this down. Oh, I didn't want that. No. Let's go over to... Why are you moving that damn light? Why is that light moving? Bum, 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 bum. Hey, by the way, if you're here, thanks, Brandon. I'll do better with the graphics. I promise. The graphics are not very good right now, but I'll do better with them when I have time. Oh no, I want this. Okay, there we go. Copy and then paste. Boom, there we go. Okay. But remember, buy Tesla. Then I got to add a space into all these. SOFI, Target, NVIDIA. Let's see. We're going to put... That's a hyperlink. And... link. Okay. We got that. If I made $350 on the podcast, I'd take you up on it. But I am going to X. And then Oh, why did that move now? That's it. Should be a hyperlink. I hate this. I really hate this. This is the part of the, I like doing the show. I just hate this part. This is the part of formatting. We'll put in. By the way, the newsletter is worth signing up for just for that link about Bob. I'm looking at it now, and that article's so good. Okay, so we've got all that. Email header and footer. Oh, you know what? Maybe I want this in the footer. Oh, no, okay. We're not going to edit that. We're just going to keep this. Okay. Carvana, boom, boom, boom. Okay. Okay. Continue. Let me see. Tags. Do. Okay, let's see. I'm going to copy that. And we're going to paste it. Can I paste it in here? Oh, no. this over here. Okay, and we're going to, hold on 1 second. I'll be done with this in 2 seconds. Bitcoin. No. Wealth. Okay, we'll do that. And set everyone now. No, I don't want this. Oh, I'm going to take that out. Okay, share on Twitter. Subscribe. Tweet. Let's see what happens. Huh. Okay, let's see. There we go. I do need an intern. I'm going to close this. Orbit. Oh, no, that was Virgin Galactic. They went out of business. Virgin Space, I think, was doing it. And actually, you know, it is funny. Brendan, you mentioned that. I listened to part of a podcast. There's a webinar that I want to attend, and I probably should. Let me look. SeanPuri.com. So here. I want to go. Hiring and delegating workshop. I know he's going to get my email address, but it's free. Next week. Register. Let's see. I'm going to move you out of here so you guys don't see my... Register. Okay. Do. Okay, let's see if I got an email. Who's got questions? See, Eric. See you tomorrow. Okay. Leave page. Hey, I posted my second newsletter. Woohoo! Okay. I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Snowflake, I think, is still up. Snowflake is up, a little bit, 165. Target's down another 2%. Wait for it to get confirmation, but once it does, I think it's a buy. Well, I can get an assistant. I have 3 friends who have assistants in the Philippines. And the choice is between the Philippines and Latin America. Latin America, the good news about Latin America, like Portugal and stuff like that, is same time zone. The Philippines, they work overnight. So, but at this point, the 20 minutes a day isn't worth it. Is CrowdStrike going up? Oh, no, I don't want that CM. CrowdStrike is down. I'm telling you, that gap that it's going to create, you're going to fill it. Q-tip, what's up? Crowd, Costco. Costco is a good one. It's down 1%. It's going back under 500. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hit me up if you guys need anything. Hit me up on the socials. I'm there. I'm checking it today. I got a dog appointment at 2:00. I think that's all I got to do today. So it's hot in here. Dogs need to poop.